What's up, everyone? It's Tachi back again with more information to help you up level your video. At some point a few weeks back, we talked about framing, which is basically the amount of space you have around your head or the subject's head. And I wanted to make sure that you were framed upright. Well, part of framing is also the height of your camera. And needless to say, I'm seeing some interesting camera heights and things. So I wanted to take a minute or more to discuss where your camera should be, what it should look like, and all such things. So let's go. Come be more with me. Oh, yeah.
Close the doors, walk across the corridor. We got something to show you. Media is our repertoire.
Okay, so camera height. What I've noticed is that sometimes people will have something really nice in the background that they want to have showing, and what they're trying to do is accommodate the height of whatever it is in the background, and they're forgetting about their framing. So what ends up happening is, because you were trying to show this lovely whatever you have in the background, maybe you have a painting on the wall or some sort of photograph that you want to show. Maybe you have a really nice sculpture or something is really nice about your background and you want it to show. But in doing that, what you've done is now put your head at the bottom of the screen, or your head is at the top of the screen, or whatever. You've messed up your framing because you're trying to show that. So I'm going to tell you this. Whatever you want in the scene needs to be placed after you do your framing. What do I mean by that? Not moving stuff around necessarily. I'm not saying that. But if there's something like a sculpture or whatever that you really want to show in the frame, then you need to sit down, frame yourself up right first, and then decide, how is this going to work for this to show in the shot? And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. The most important thing, look, the background is important. You know, I preach that. But the most important thing is you being seen and heard. So when you're framing or when you're setting your camera height, set it for you. So if you see me right now, you see, and we did this with framing before, very little height. I don't have too much height above my head. I don't have too much on the sides. Now, again, we talked about framing before. Depending on what you're doing, sometimes it's okay to be off to the side a little bit to either side, depending on what you're doing. If you're doing some sort of interview, that's often the norm. You see that happening. And that's okay. But for something like this, maybe you're doing a talking head type of thing, you definitely want framing like this. But why? Because that's what we're used to. And we won't be looking at everything else if we're looking at you dead center, right? Although I am all for creative framing, but it depends on what you're doing. All right. So this camera, this framing has to do with the camera height. If you don't have the proper tripod or stabilizer, you're not going to be able to get this height. So what you need to do is make sure that you have a tripod or a tabletop tripod / stabilizer that will get you to this height. Never mind what's going on in the back. Remember to frame yourself. Once you frame yourself, if you think there's something you want in the shot that would be nice as a background, then go ahead and see where you can place it that it would work. But remember, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And I'd rather not have you with a wayward piece of furniture or something in the shot. I'd rather have you well framed up. And remember, it's about you. So making sure that you don't have your camera so high that you have a lot of space above your head. So pretend I had something back there that I wanted to show. All right, so see, I have this painting back there, which is nice, but it's not as important as me to the message, right? So my head is blocking it. That's okay. So here's another thing. If there's something that you want to show, for example, you have a lot of people will have paintings or whatever on the wall that they want to show. Do not aim to have the top of the painting as your guide for the frame. Because what happens? Most of the time, we're hanging up our portraits or our pictures higher, right, than our heads, obviously. So you're going to be aiming for the top of the painting, and that's going to put like so much space above your head, and it's going to look strange. Don't accommodate for the painting. Accommodate for you, because guess what? Even if we don't see the top of the painting, we know that there's something interesting in the background there. So this is what I'm going to tell you to do. Come away from the wall, first of all. People often do that when they're too close to the wall and it looks really weird. So the farther away you come from the wall, the more of your background you're going to be able to accommodate. So let's say my background here. This is my living room, right? So you're able to see almost the entire expanse of the living room because I'm really far away from the farthest wall. But if I was closer back to that back wall, you wouldn't be able to see all this. So think about that when you're framing up. Don't aim for if you want to see more of your back wall or want to see more of the background, you need to come farther away from your background. Okay. I just had to say this because it is getting me. The more I see people with Zoom calls or video calls trying to accommodate the background. No, accommodate you. The background is important, but it's secondary to you and your information. So what have we learned? Number one, place yourself first. Frame yourself first. Number two, make sure there's not too much above or below you, right? Make sure you're framed right. Number three, if there is a piece that you really want within the frame, set yourself first and then place it, right? You are the most important. Number four, if another way to get more things into the frame is by coming farther away from your set or coming farther away from the farthest wall. The farther away you are from the background, the more of the background we're going to be able to see. Hopefully that was helpful. I'm trying to help you level up here, folks, and I hope you appreciate it. So the next time you want to do a video call or some sort of recording and you want to show off your great background, either think about not having all of it show and just getting the gist of something in the background, or coming farther away from your background. And that will help us see the beautiful background you work so hard to create. All right. Well, I think that's about it for this one. And we've got more coming back or coming up. So I'm going to challenge you, as always, to continue to be more Earth with your video and your live streams. I'll see you next time. Cheers.